Welcome back, friends, to another episode of the Juicebox Podcast.
My name is Kirby, and I'm a mom of a 8-year-old who was diagnosed just about a year ago with type 1 diabetes.
This is part 2 of a 2-part episode. Go look at the title. If you don't recognize it, you haven't heard part 1 yet. It's probably the episode right before this in your podcast player. My Diabetes Pro Tip series is about cutting through the clutter of diabetes management to give you the straightforward, practical insights that truly make a difference. This series is all about mastering the fundamentals, whether it's the basics of insulin, dosing adjustments, or everyday management strategies that will empower you to take control. I'm joined by Jenny Smith, who is a diabetes educator with over 35 years of personal experience, and we break down complex concepts into simple, actionable tips. The Diabetes Pro Tip series runs between episode 1000 and 1025 in your podcast player, or you can listen to it at juiceboxpodcast.com by going up into the menu. Nothing you hear on the Juicebox Podcast should be considered advice, medical or otherwise. Always consult a physician before making any changes to your healthcare plan. This episode of the Juicebox Podcast is sponsored by Medtronic Diabetes and their MiniMed 780G system, designed to help ease the burden of diabetes management. Imagine fewer worries about missed boluses or miscalculated carbs, thanks to meal detection technology and automatic correction doses. Learn more and get started today at medtronicdiabetes.com/juicebox. Today's episode of the Juicebox Podcast is sponsored by the Candor NextGen blood glucose meter. This is the meter that my daughter has on her person right now. It is incredibly accurate and waiting for you at candornext.com/juicebox.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, yelled at by the doctor.
That's one that drives me nuts.
Sure.
If I can talk about that, drives me nuts.
Go ahead.
Because there is no doubt that you need to bolus for those things. I get, especially as a dietitian, that even just teaching carb counting is an uphill battle for a lot of people. Luckily for me, I was teaching it for a decade or more before this happened. So I was old hat. It drives me nuts that wasn't one of the first things we learned about. I get it is very difficult to kind of suss out because everybody's a little bit different and you got to kind of tweak the way that you do it. But it is just yesterday, I was re-listening to your fat and protein pro tip with Jenny, and I sent my husband a text. I said, OMFG answers, because I wanted the idea that you guys were talking about with doing the protein at the end, and what was it, like doing 0% up front, 100% over 3 hours. I wanted that. I hadn't even heard of the concept of doing a temporary basal increase for the fat. And both of those things make perfect sense to me because I understand how protein gets turned into glucose and I understand how fat slows down digestion. Why is it almost a year later that these pieces are being put together for me? Because I have an 8-year-old who eats pizza, he eats mac and cheese, he eats all of those things. So we went a year not being able to practice and nobody teaches it.
It was never going to occur to you.
That's like, how would I even know to and I did actually ask early on about bolusing for those. And somebody said, no, people don't normally have to do that.
Well, if it makes you feel better, two things. First of all, it makes you feel better. I didn't recognize it. Somebody told me about it. I recognized the action and the need, but I didn't put it together with the fat and the protein.
Right.
It wasn't until I was talking about it so much that somebody who knew about that was like, yeah, that's this. You should talk to this lady. There's a lady in Canada. She's got a website called Waltzing the Dragon. She came on the podcast and laid the whole thing out for me really technically. And I was like, oh, that's what I do. I just didn't know that's why I was doing it.
Yes. Yeah.
And now it's part of the thing. You know what I mean? That's why this thing keeps building. It really is me learning as I go. Right. Just like you are. And I think that if someone would have said that to you on day one, I don't think it would have stuck to you anyway.
It might not have stuck the way to do it, but acknowledging that it was something that we could address when we were ready would have been nice because, it would be then I would know to ask. But instead I had somebody early on say, you don't have to. And, when your kid gets diagnosed with something, even no matter what, even as a dietitian, as a mom, everything I knew flew out the window. everything. It was gone for like a hot second.
Yeah.
So like anything people said to me, that's what we did for a little while just to stay safe. And then I was like, well, would have been nice if they had said, when you're ready, we can talk about this.
Well, it makes the assumption that they know too. And
yeah, I suppose.
bring this full circle by telling you that the person who was chastised in the doctor's office was told by the endocrinologist, not that like that's a difficult thing to explain to people or like, let's not confuse them with that. Told them that's not real.
Oh my gosh. See, now that I have to laugh because it's infuriating.
Yeah, of course it is.
Absolutely infuriating.
Yeah. I don't know what to tell you. Like people aren't perfect and some of them are doctors.
I suppose. I know. Yeah. My expectations are way too high for people. My dad has always said that. I'm like, well, I mean, are they really that high?
I think so. I mean, I really do. I try very much to have a more human view of this. Like I know doctors, they're just people too. Their husbands and wives are mad at them. They have kids that don't listen. Sure. They can't afford stuff. They, like they're paying off their blah, blah, blah. They, their moms are sick. I can't believe any of us get up in the morning and go do the thing we're supposed to do half the time. You know
Absolutely. What I mean? I will give you that.
Yeah.
But because the fat and protein thing is real, your dog dying shouldn't prevent you from acknowledging that.
No, but it does. And, because you forget or you're tired or whatnot. And,
well, in the case you just said, they actually denied it.
Or so they don't know.
Maybe they don't know. Yeah. I'm fired up. I give people a lot of grace. Right now, I'm just fired up.
I'd be happy to get fired up with you. I started telling you about something before we got on here, and I alluded to it at the very beginning that I don't know if I'm getting older and surly or if I'm starting to like really, I pay a lot of attention to things. Like I'm either nosy or I'm interested by things, right? But I watch the world as closely as I can. And I've noticed lately that no one seems to know how to comport themselves anymore in public, right? They're unaware of each other. They don't know what they're doing. I watched two people talking the other day. One guy just coughed in the other guy's face. Oh my God. He didn't like flinch when he coughed. And the guy that got coughed on didn't flinch. And all I could think was like, we're like a couple of years removed from COVID where everybody wouldn't even like stand near each other.
Right.
And now it's all gone out of your head. Like not the, but forget COVID. Like it's all going out of your head not to cough in someone's face, then go, oh, I'm so sorry. Or for the person to even react, I was like, why? So I watched that happen. Then I walk around, I see, I'm in the grocery store just for context, right? And this woman's like, she grabs something off the shelf. She walks a few feet, gets into what I would consider to be the main thoroughfare at the end of it. Like she couldn't be in more people's way if she set out to be in more people's way. And then she stopped and started doing something that could have happened anywhere, but she's now blocking the traffic of 4 different directions, and she is completely unaware that this is happening. So I stop because whether you think this or not, when you're listening, I'm a good person. Okay. And I'm like,
most of us know that.
I'm going to give her the benefit of the doubt here, Kirby, right? I just stop. I got headphones on. I'm listening to something. Truth is, I ain't in a hurry to get back to where I'm going either. So I just sit, I chill out. I'm waiting for her to like figure out what it is she needs to figure out and start moving along. And she looks up and sees me and then eyeballs me like I'm doing something to her. And I was like, is this a fucking joke?
Yeah.
I'm like, lady, I didn't say anything. I just smiled and gestured for her to go by. And then she walked by and I was like, oh my God, she's mad at me.
That's wild.
That's awesome.
It's really wild.
No, wait. In this same trip, people are going along. I watched a guy get sherbet or like ice cream or something, right? Like the colorful ice cream. Is that sherbet?
Sherbet, sorbet?
Yeah, no, it wasn't sorbet.
Different. Does anybody know?
I was in the sorbet section. I would have known if it was sorbet. Okay.
Oh my God.
Gets it out, takes 10 or 20 steps, realizes he doesn't want it and puts it down somewhere that's not frozen anymore. And I was like, okay. And then no lie, as leaving and checking out, doing the whole thing. There's a waste paper basket. Like there's super cashiers. They don't actually have to run the registers, but they seem to run the whole thing. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
They have a little like a podium they have, right?
Yeah.
And the podium has a little waste paper basket next to it because they do a lot with paper. And this family's walking out. Father, I'm going to call him 38, 40 years old. Wife, same age. son 8, 9, 10 range, daughter 7, 8 range. Walking along, I see the daughter get a look on her face. And then she just hocks up a loogie and spits it in the waste paper basket that the people are standing next to, the cashiers are standing to. And she just kept going. And the mom saw it happen, nothing. The dad saw it happen, nothing. The brother kept going. And all I could think was 1978. I'd be 50 feet from that location right now. My dad would have hit me so hard.
Right.
Like I would have just flown. I just would have flown through the fucking air through the grocery store. Is it right to hit your children? I don't think so.
No, we got to get somewhere in the middle.
We somehow, from the time I was 9 till the time I'm 54, went from like, this is a beatable offense to like, no one looked up.
Right.
And this was not okay. Like she wasn't, for any of you listening, I know how you all are now. You try to make an excuse for everybody. Like there was no reason she couldn't have just like lived 5 more seconds and spit that into a bush outside. She was so close to being outside. You know what I mean? And no direction, even not even like, so now I'm watching. I got my cart too. I'm leaving. So like I stay not close. I'm not being creepy, but I stay close enough to see, like, am I going to get outside and see a little parenting?
Hopefully.
Oh,
I'm guessing not.
No. Nah, that part was over already.
That's what was in my head, is like maybe they were waiting to talk to her outside.
I thought so too. So that was me again, giving the benefit of the doubt. They're going to get the girl outside. They're going to pull aside nice and go, hey, honey, listen, we don't want to spit in the trash can, blah, blah, blah. Nothing. Yeah.
I know. And I don't know how, like, I mean, I could have all sorts of, speculation about how all this came to be, but I can at least with you acknowledge that it's just something has disappeared. And sometimes I find myself like, gosh, this seems so obvious, like how to be a good person, how to think about our impact on other people.
Well, why do I bring this up here? Because I think that my initial reaction was, I went home and I said to my wife, we got to go.
Right.
She's like, what? I'm like, we got to bug out. I was like, if we can sell the house, great. If not, let's just burn it to the ground. We got to get out of here. And she's like, why? I tell my long-winded story about the grocery store. I must have caught my wife in a mood because she was like agreeing with me. She never agrees with me. We've been together way too long. And so I was like, okay. But then what I landed on was running's the wrong thing to do. I got to keep going to the grocery store and just acting the way like a generation ago knew to act.
Right.
And maybe that'll help something.
I think so. That's the whole idea of be the change that you want to see, right? Like that's it.
For the people you're talking about, like, who are very honestly probably listening to this, like if you know something, like put something into action. Like maybe your work will say yes to it. Like, try something, because otherwise, whatever the version of spitting in the waste paper basket is 10 years from now is going to happen. Oh. Somebody doesn't stand up and say, hey, I think we should talk about the fact that sometimes fat needs a bolus. Like, it'll just go away. Like, nobody's going to, like, I don't know where we're all headed exactly. And I don't want to be high-minded about my stupid podcast. I think people who know have got to keep saying so.
Agreed. Right.
And maybe you'll be wrong, or maybe you'll bump into people who won't agree with you. Maybe if I would have said to the guy, like, hey, man, your kid just spit in the waste paper basket. Like, are you going to do something? Even if he didn't take offense to it right away, which of course he would, but like say he was going to be thoughtful about it, he might be like, hey, the kid had to spit. Like, what do you want her to do? Spit on the floor? Like,
right.
No, I want her to hold it into her mouth, swallow it like a human being, live through it, go be uncomfortable for 5 seconds, and don't make everyone else part of your problem. A guy just coughed right in the other guy's face. He didn't even notice he did it. ContourNext.com/juicebox. That's the link you'll use to find out more about the Contour NextGen blood glucose meter. When you get there, there's a little bit at the top. You can click right on blood glucose monitoring. I'll do it with you. Go to meters, click on any of the meters. I'll click on the NextGen, and you're going to get more information. It's easy to use and highly accurate. Smart Light provides a simple understanding of your blood glucose levels. And of course, with second chance sampling technology, you can save money with fewer wasted test strips. As if all of that wasn't enough, the Contour NextGen also has a compatible app for an easy way to share and see your blood glucose results. ContourNext.com/juicebox. And if you scroll down at that link, you're going to see things like a buy now button. You could register your meter after you purchase it. Or what is this? Download a coupon. Oh, receive a free Contour NextGen blood glucose meter, do tell. ContourNext.com/juicebox. Head over there now, get the same accurate and reliable meter that we use. Today's episode is sponsored by Medtronic Diabetes, who is making life with diabetes easier with the MiniMed 780G system. The MiniMed 780G automated insulin delivery system anticipates, adjusts, and corrects every 5 minutes. Real-world results show people achieving up to 80% time in range with recommended settings without increasing lows, but of course, individual results may vary. The 780G works around the clock so you can focus on what matters. Have you heard about Medtronic's extended infusion set? It's the first and only infusion set labeled for up to a 7-day wear. This feature is repeatedly asked for, and Medtronic has delivered. 97% of people using the 780G reported that they could manage their diabetes without major disruptions of sleep. They felt more free to eat what they wanted, and they felt less stress with fewer alarms and alerts. You can't beat that. Learn more about how you can spend less time and effort managing your diabetes by visiting medtronicdiabetes.com/juicebox.
And this is why it's so hard to do the right thing, because we are living in this kind of, and I wouldn't say it's not so hard to do the right thing. I was saying we have so many different perspectives on the right way to be that are existing around us that make it kind of hard to move things forward. But truthfully, like, as I sit here, I think, like, where will I be with all of this in 5 years? Right now, we are just getting our legs under us. But as soon as there is a path, like, I want to be on that path talking about it. And maybe I'm not the one to make the change, but my voice could potentially be one of the voices that propels it forward.
Well, all of our voices. Like,
yes, exactly.
Everyone's got to do it, because I earlier said there's no way it's going to happen. Right. That's me being cynical, telling you that it doesn't look like things are going that way. It doesn't look like they're going in a direction where enough people say, hey, you know what, we got to say something about this. And around diabetes specifically, like, I'm not the only one, but, you know, when I was writing a blog, most of those blogs were just like, I don't know how to put it exact. They were just like, woe is me blogs.
Right.
They were like, diabetes is hard. Isn't diabetes hard? It's so hard. It's hard for me. I know it's hard for you. Let's be sad together. You know, like, that's a lot of them were like that. I had conversations back then with people writing those blogs. Some of them were really, and I was like, well, I look at you privately, like, you're doing so well. Why don't you tell people about this?
Right.
I don't want to get involved in that. I'm like, oh, okay, great. Yeah, I don't want to tell people what to do or how to, like, because then it's going to open you up to, like, somebody's going to tell you you're wrong, and then they're going to yell at you. And I was like, hey, people have been yelling at me for 15 years. It's not that bad. You know, it's really not that bad. You can live through it, you know.
Well, and you know, like, how long it takes and what actually goes into being able to discover these things. And the things that you discover sometimes really are just for the person with type 1 that you're considering.
Yeah.
Right. And some of them apply to everybody. But especially when you're early on, you're like, can't make heads or tails of things. Like, you don't know what the difference between those two things are.
Right.
So
I agree, too, that you're not going to know what they are. So somebody should say them all. And then you can just figure out which work for you and which don't.
Exactly.
It's fine. Everything's not a rule. And the other thing is, too, is like someone's, you know, online, you know, disagreeing with you. You know, that's a minority of people, right? Like, you know, Kirby, I'm not going to bring up where we are in the world's history today, because it's not for this podcast, right? But I told my kids yesterday, I was like, I know it seems like the whole world knows about this. And I was like, but it's really only a small fraction of people. And, you know, there's only a small fraction of people who even know who that person is. There's only a small fraction of people who know that this happened. I just I stopped by a health food store yesterday afternoon. No one knew what happened in the world. If I would have said to the person, hey, do you know about this? They would have said, I don't know who you're talking about. Most people are not the internet. Right. I was like, I know it feels like everything that happens on your screen is everything. And I was like, but the truth is that if you go look it up, only a small fraction of people are online every day.
Right.
And as you get older, you'll realize that that's not the whole world. It's a piece of it. It shouldn't be ignored, and it's not nothing. But there are a lot of people out in the world just doing their thing, living another day. And I was like, and you should, that's, in my opinion, what you should be doing.
I agree. Actually, it's funny that you said that, because I went to see a new therapist. I realized that I wanted to talk to someone after my son was diagnosed, because I was, you know, having all the stuff going on. I'm like, I just need something to ground me. the first thing I talked to her about was some stuff I was seeing, not related to type 1, but things that were causing me a lot of anxiety and panic that I was seeing online. And she was just like, limit your exposure. Like, how much of that do you need to know? I was like, well, I think I need to know. She's like, no, you don't actually need to know any of that. If you need to know something, will that information get to you? I said, yeah. And she said, limit your exposure. So I had to take an action.
Yeah.
It's like a spring cleaning almost of the things that you're exposed to. It's like really remove the stuff that is not serving you, because you're going to get the information that you need. And why do that to yourself? Because you get sucked in. And so anyway, that was some of the best advice I got.
Yeah, it's great advice. And also it counts for everybody. Like, it would be easy to say, oh, that's how famous people get treated. Like, I've heard people say, like, well, they deserve it. They want to be famous. So, like, they take what they get, right? But it happens to me. It would happen to you if you had 10 followers on Facebook. Like, if you can go online right now, and I am either a deity or an asshole. Neither are true. And, like, who knows? Like, where does that come from? Like, why would you, like, listen, I'm happy. I get that if the podcast has helped you, then you're grateful about it. Like, that's very cool. I think that's awesome. And I'm happy that it helped you. But, like, at what point, I don't know, like, how could this make you so angry? You need to tell people that I'm a bad person.
Right.
This person, like, said something that I disagreed with, and now I'm going to go make sure to tell everybody that I can find to let them know that they're wrong. And I'm like, my God, like, what are you doing? This isn't hurting anybody.
It is bonkers. It is.
But I'm saying that happens to people. Like, I'm not famous. It happens to me. It doesn't happen often, but it happens to me. And it happens to people in their regular lives too. Like, right? Like this, listen, I don't understand people's psychology enough to really, like, speak about this, but, like, whatever that framework is that applies to, the most famous person in the world down to some guy with a niche podcast about a niche disease, because that's really what this is, right? Like, it's not even diabetes. It's not even type 2 diabetes, it's type 1 diabetes, right?
Right.
Like, it's as few people as possible within diabetes in your regular life. Like, I saw yesterday, there's people online ranting to 3 followers. And one of the followers is busy telling them how right they are, and one of them's busy telling them how wrong they are. And I was like, oh my God, this is 4 people talking is what I'm seeing here.
And that's a microcosm of what is, like, happening everywhere.
To bring it back to what you were talking about around diabetes specifically, like, you can get into that space, and what happens? Like, everything feels so what? Like, what was the feedback online doing to you? What did you see, and how did it make you feel?
Regarding type 1 or the other stuff that I was?
The type 1 thing.
Mostly, it made me feel comforted that there were so many questions and so many people that had found their way through it. But early on, it felt a little confusing because so much, and still, to a degree, still today, because there's so much that's so specific to our situation. And it's very hard to explain all of that, like, on a Facebook post, here are all the things you need. And that's one thing. Another thing, if, any of the tech people are listening, would be great to have the ability to put more into, like, if we have to treat a low, and to put in how much we treated and when, because I don't remember. I wish we could put a little bit more that wrote alongside the graph, so that when we're looking at it, because I don't remember what happened last Friday. I'm like, I know that he had pizza, and I can't remember quite what we did. So I think that that's partially how I feel sometimes when I'm trying to piece things together based on what other people are saying online, is like, it's not exactly what we're experiencing, and it's hard to place it, kind of transpose it into our situation. So, but what we do is, I know you asked this earlier, is like, I hear something and then I try it and I see if it works. And then if it didn't, I try to figure out why. And then maybe I'll go back and see if I can find information on somebody else saying the same thing and try something else. And so it's just like, you kind of keep trying new things until you find it, which is going to change again with, as the years go on. But I had to figure out how to use it, because at first it did feel like it made me feel a little anxious, because it seemed like so many people had so many answers, which was cool. But then I was like, well, I really don't know how to really wind this into what we have going on.
There's something about the way the internet works and being online works, and social media. It's something that it just I don't know if it's the speed it runs at or what it is that it helps people who are already anxious to feel more anxious.
Right.
And, or in an anxious situation to feel it turned up somehow.
Yeah.
But the irony, of course, is this is the best place to get the information.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. And I think what I would urge people to do is just be mindful of, how, your tone comes across different when you're typing versus talking. And what struck me a couple of times is when people say things so definitively, like do this, do this, do this, do this.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, they don't come along with your disclaimer of this is not medical advice. So it's like, it's like I'm so happy for you. You have found what works for you. But when you kind of say it like, this is exactly what you need to do, which not everybody does. I will say that's the minority. But when you're searching for answers, sometimes the minority feel a little bit louder to you. It's like if you get a haircut and like a million people tell you it looks great, but one person tells you it's not the best look on you, that's the one you focus on. So
you should try being me long enough. You learn how to ignore those people.
Well, don't you have wonderful hair though? I mean, come on.
The voices who have been scared in the past are often the loudest.
Yeah.
Like, because I see that throughout a number of different conversations. Like, my kid's blood sugar's been high for 2 hours. What do I do? Go to the emergency room. Like, wow.
Yes.
I'm like,
oh my gosh,
slow down.
Yeah. And that's right.
Then you get well, if they don't go and something happens, then what? And I'm like, okay. Like,
right.
yeah.
But it's not on you.
Right.
It's not, you're not responsible for them.
That's a thing that happened to somebody at some point. Another one that I don't see any humor in it. I don't see any humor in any of these because it's something bad's happened to somebody along the way. But like anyone who's had an eating disorder and you start saying like, yo, I didn't want my kid to have this cookie, it turns immediately into the worst part of what happened to them. They are now going to they're going to tell you about, right? Because they don't want that to happen to your kid. And it's a loving thing. Like, I really do think it comes from a good place. I think all this stuff comes from a good place.
Mm-hmm. Oh, for sure. Of course it does.
Often their experiences change the way they communicate it.
Yes, absolutely.
And the communication can feel very aggressive. And then they don't know it's aggressive.
Right. And I think, I'm very tuned into that because I see it all the time with like weight loss. So I don't work directly with people, but I hear a lot of weight loss conversations and somebody will find something that worked perfectly for them. Mm-hmm. Then they'll tell somebody, say, you should do this, whatever the thing is. And because we're different people, everybody has a different body. It might not work for that person. And what sometimes, I'll say often will happen is that they'll blame themselves. They'll think that they did something wrong when really it wasn't the right thing for them. Yeah. And I think the same thing kind of applies here is like, if we say things with authority, that can leave somebody feeling like they failed if it didn't work for them, or if maybe you didn't have all of the information. So, and I think you're right. Everybody is saying this from a very loving place because if they found something that worked, they want to spread the good word, right?
When I was just writing the blog, there was this moment, this lady, she's a lovely woman. She wrote a book called Kids First, Diabetes Second. And I want to be completely honest. I have a passage in the book. I haven't read the book. So I want to just be clear. I'm so sorry if she hears this. I haven't read your book. But I don't read. Nobody should take that offensive.
No.
I haven't read her book. I don't actually know what it means. I think what she meant was like, try to see the kid first. And then there's no other way to put this. I watched kind of like very aggressive, low carb people say, oh, she means that health isn't as important as having fun. And I'm like, I don't feel like she's saying that at all.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was like, that's a weird distortion of what she's saying.
Right.
But around that time when that book was in the zeitgeist and it was popular enough, and, it was like kids first, diabetes second, this lady doesn't care about blah, blah, blah. I mean, some people think it's a great way to think like, hey, let's make sure your kid's happy first. Like, who knows what you care? But I got wrapped into it at one point because I started making the podcast then on the kind of the tail end of that. And it was it's episode 11, which is crazy to say because
so early.
Yours will be like episode 1800 or something like that.
That's wild. Oh my goodness.
But in episode 11, I was searching for a title and back then I didn't know how to make the titles. So while I was editing it, I just wrote down things that I heard me say in the middle of it. And it was like a talking head episode where I just was talking to myself. Mm-hmm. And I think at some point in the episode, I said, that's when I learned to be bold with insulin. I was like, I'll call this episode Bold with Insulin.
Oh my God.
Right. And I called it that. And it became a thing. Like it's
a mantra.
People use that term. Right. And
For sure.
It wasn't on purpose for me. You know what I mean? Like it was a catchy phrase that I heard inside of the 45 minutes that I made the recording, and I made it the title.
And then it's a movement now.
Well, those same people came at me.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he just wants you to use a bunch of insulin for everything. He doesn't care if you eat healthy or not. I'm like, I don't think that at all. But then I got to make a choice. And the choice that I fell to was that what I see mostly from people is they have trouble with high blood sugars. And that caused them problems long term. And I don't think it's a good idea to put into their head that there's an amount of insulin that's too much.
Right.
Because it could lead them to not use enough insulin and to ride with higher blood sugars and to think that higher is better than low and all that other stuff. Right. And so like I've got to pick a messaging, basically, like what side of this coin am I going to stand on more firmly? And I stood on the idea of like, I think you should learn how insulin works so that you can use it very effectively. I'd like you to pre-bolus so that you don't, because that is definitely going to keep you from using more insulin. You're not going to be fighting highs later. I don't want you to get low afterwards. That is certainly not a goal. But in the end, you need as much insulin as you need. And for 10 years, that small group of people, are like, oh, he's pushing insulin on people. He's, why won't he just tell them to eat low carb? And what you as a nutritionist know, like, you can't tell people how to eat.
No.
That isn't going to work.
You shouldn't.
No, it's just not going to work. Like, even if I was, like, even if they're right, like just say, give it to them for a second, right? Like, I'm thinking of this one person, like, sorry, I'm laughing.
This is going to be great.
But she's just so crazy, but in a very lovely way. And by the way, now there's like 20 people who think I'm talking about them. And they're all like, I'm not crazy. Actually, you all seem a little crazy to me, but that's just my opinion. Maybe you're not.
We like each other's crazy, though.
But at the same time, like, I think that they just have been saved by a thing. And they know it's working for them, and they want other people to know, and they do think that like too much insulin will cause problems. And by the way, hey, between you and me, it is better to use less insulin.
Yeah.
But not so much so that that would be nice in a perfect world.
Right.
If you ate lower carb and you got all your nutrients and you were using less insulin, I do think that would be a better way to go. Right. But when most people don't live lives like that, that's not good messaging for them.
No,
right. You got to do the bigger picture thing. Like, look, I've never gone all the way on what I think, but like, I do say it out loud enough that like, I don't understand if you're drinking soda with sugar in it. I do not understand you. I don't understand why you would do that. Having said that, I'm in the minority. Coke and Pepsi are pretty big companies. They're doing okay. You know what I mean?
Right. And I think, and that's interesting that you're bringing that up, because that is something I have struggled with. You made me think of it when you said kid first, diabetes second, or later, whatever it was, that has been like this convergence of the way I wanted to parent around food, and now trying to make it make sense in the context of diabetes, because I had a very specific, and I still hold it, philosophy about the way we talk about food and the way we talk about what we consume. And it really pressed me to figure out how to stay true to that and align with my own personal philosophy and still help my son and help our family manage his diabetes. So like you mentioned soda, but I'll use juice because I know you've mentioned like orange juice a few times, right? Like I come from a place of there's no, and I hate saying this because it's been said so many times, but it has been said so much because there's truth to it, which is like no food is bad food. But then you have to start asking yourself, like, what constitutes food? And is it the amount that you're having that is the issue, or is it the actual food? So like in the case of orange juice or any juice, part of the issue, especially with kids, is that it has been over-served. It's at too many meals, they get too big of a portion. But we come from a place of it has a place and it has some nutrients in it. It can be considered part of your fruit intake. So the way we talk about that is different than what you might tell someone who's trying to manage their blood sugar, right? Like, oh, I don't. So it's been really interesting, even with, I'll back up a little bit more too, even just what I've told my kids about food is that I won't tell them, I would never force them to eat anything. It's something I told them so early, I will never make you eat anything. I'm not even a try a bite club type of person. If you don't want it, don't eat it. But fast forward, and my son has a low blood sugar and he has to eat or drink something. In the very early days, he said, Mom, you told me that you would never make me eat something if I didn't want to. I was like, oh my God.
I didn't know this was going to happen.
I didn't know, exactly. So it's like all of these things coming together. It's just so interesting to see, like I say interesting, but really sometimes it's challenging to walk the line between the two, because I think as he gets older, he'll find foods that he enjoys that are better for his blood sugar management. But right now, he's still a kid learning to eat. And part of that is letting them explore, letting them, you're in charge of what you put in front of them. But at the end of the day, they can eat of that what they want. And I have to try to help manage his insulin around that.
Right.
So it's just, it's tough, I think, when you start talking about the actual food with the kids and the drinks. We're still finding our way, but
yeah, you just shouldn't drink sugar. Like, I think it's just, it's
I would,
way to, like, that's all.
Well, and here's the thing, like, you can. It's out there. If I had my druthers, soda probably wouldn't have been invented if I could choose. But that's not the world we're in.
Right.
I
also don't not drink soda, by the way. I do. I drink diet soda with, I don't know if frequency is the right word, but like I drink diet soda. I said this recently when I was talking to Jenny. I was like, like orange juice, like a couple of swallows of orange juice, that's awesome. Like, but you've like a 16-ounce glass of it.
That's exactly right.
Yeah, like that's way too much.
Right.
So,
and I think I always use the example, like we all people say like we shouldn't, donuts are bad for you, right? Like that's the thing that people will say. It's like, well, so is an apple. If you only eat apples and bags of apples and only apples for your life, like it is the dose. It's the dose, and the environment that we live in right now is not really that conducive to, foundational foods that are good for health and moderation of the other foods. That's just not where we live.
I don't understand the chemical mechanism of it, but I can tell you, like after having used the GLP for 2 years now, if you gave me a donut, I could take a bite of it and go, oh, that's good, and then not eat the rest of it.
Right.
But I know for certain that before the GLP, I would avoid the donut because if not, I would eat as many donuts as was there.
Right. Yeah. And it is working on your hunger and your fullness hormones. It's also helping with food noise. I don't know if you experienced that, but like the internal narrative. So that it is.
Like I hear people say like, oh, well, you just, have to have more, restraint or something like that. Like it's not, it's just, I don't know how to explain that. That's not what was happening. Yeah.
No, I'm with you. I mean, I think that those are, people don't, even the experts, we don't fully understand all that goes into hunger, fullness, weight, metabolism, Yeah,
you have to experience it to understand it, really. Yeah. And it's still hard to put into words, to be perfectly honest. Like I was not an undisciplined person, but I definitely had weight to lose. And I was definitely eating, too much or the wrong thing or whatever, enough to hold that weight. And, and there's plenty of times where I didn't eat that way. And my body just never it never responded to eating well. And no kidding, like without a certain amount of sugar, like I would have told you in the past, if you said to me, like, cut out sugar, I would have said, oh, I don't know, like sugar's only one of the ways like my digestion works the best. Like if I cut too much sugar out, I can't go to the bathroom.
Interesting.
That's the thing I would have told you. I believed 100%, and it seemed like it was proving itself out in my life. I don't know what it was doing or not doing, but I can tell you that I don't have as much sugar anymore, and it's not a problem.
Yeah.
So, and I wasn't having a ton of it, but I was having some.
Right.
I don't know. Like, I just think that the entire thing it's easy to say, like, this is the way to do it if it's working for you.
Exactly.
It's also not easy to put into practice, just like anything else. Like, say, if you're a runner, you tell people, go with great shape, and everybody should run. Well, that's too easy. That's not true. Yeah, it's not going to work for everybody.
That's right. Some people can't even walk a mile, so that you can use that as a, what's the word, metaphor, like some people can't do what you're doing even at a slow pace. So
I just think that in the end, like people shouldn't suffer.
Agreed.
And no matter what pathway it takes to get them to that, if it's eating low carb, then that's great. If it's running every day and they can do it, then that's great. If it's somebody needs a GLP medication, then awesome. Like in the end, like your life is a very finite thing. It is very short and very finite, and it could end at any second. And even if it lasts as long as it possibly can, it only lasts 75, 80 years. And those last 15 years aren't awesome to begin with. So maybe you're getting like 60 years that are awesome. But also, if you're an adult, remember this, you don't really remember your life before you were like 16 anyway. So you lose the first 15 to that. maybe 20. Right. And then the last 15, you can't walk. So basically,
you're making this not sound great.
Life is 35 years long. Okay. So like while I'm in those 35 years, I got to struggle the whole time. No. I'd like people to be as happy as possible in that
Agreed.
Space.
Yeah. And I think that's what like the foundation that we lay with the kids, especially like in the setting of type 1 is so important because though they won't remember every single thing you said, you are creating their formative experiences around food, around their diabetes. And the way you talk about it is so important. And that's what like with my kids and especially with our type 1, I won't ever say like, well, you shouldn't eat that because of your diabetes. Those words will never leave my mouth. Yeah. I won't even say that, that's not a great food. That's not a bad food. The only thing I'll ever say is if there is something it has something in it that's not great for them, like an ingredient that's not good for little bodies, I might say, oh yeah, it's got something in there that's not great for little bodies. That's as close as I get. But what you're describing, like the joy that we can get out of food, that ability to do that is it's a foundation that's laid at such an early age. Like I grew up in the area of, the Jenny Craigs and all of the women in my family going on diets and eating salads. And that has stuck with me till this exact moment. I still struggle. And that was put there early. It doesn't mean you can't learn to cope with it and learn, ways to thrive. But it has just been so, it has come into focus for me so much with the diabetes because the way we talk about food, we started kind of walking on ice a little bit for a minute. It was, or eggshells, thin ice. What's the,
I mean, you can walk on eggshells.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah. We can walk on thin eggshells or on ice.
How about you walked on thin ice shells?
I love it. Okay. That's the episode.
Walking on thin ice shells?
There you go.
Okay. I don't know. Deez nuts is awesome.
I know. I'm going to how about Go Bills? Can we do one of those?
Oh my God. Right. That's insane. The Bills are never going to win anything. And for you to assert otherwise is ridiculous.
Oh my gosh. Okay. I'm going to continue
that organization
to like
is.
You in this moment.
What a disaster that organization is.
You have enough stuff going
You know when that quarterback will win? You know when that quarterback will win?
Think long and hard about what you're going to say.
When he leaves Buffalo, that's when he'll win. Because he's pretty good.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, you guys are jinxed. I don't know how to put it to you.
I love my Bills.
Remember the time you lost 4 Super Bowls in a row?
I think what you mean is remember the time we made it to the Super Bowl 4 times in a row? Thank you.
That's please. Not what it felt like.
Please. So, see, again, formative memories. That gave me grit, brother.
Yeah. Hey, listen, there's something to be said for that. Like, like living through a lot of disappointment really is helpful sometimes.
I'm telling you, I do look at it as they went 4 years. So, I mean, not every day, not when they're...
That is the only way you could possibly look at that because otherwise you would have to fling yourself into one of those frozen rivers, you know what I mean, that you live near. And honestly, no one should live where you are. It's too cold.
It's not that bad, you know. We had like 90-degree days all summer, so...
But humidity, right?
Yeah, it's been hot.
Yeah. No good. All right.
Listen, talk nice about your food, people. That's what I'm saying. Just be nice.
I'll make a point to that too, is that you don't always say what you mean either. And it's hard to like remember day to day, moment to moment. Like the other night, Art and I were doing something and it was something she had trouble with. And I said, okay, well, I said something like, let me know if you're going to do it. Because if not, I have to throw it away. Because it's not going to be good after this time. It doesn't even matter what we were talking about. And she felt bad about that.
Aww.
But I didn't mean, I wasn't trying to make her feel bad about it. Like, I was like, and then I realized, I'm like, hey, we have more. It's not a big deal.
Yeah. Backtrack.
Yeah, I was like, I just want to I just want to know, like, what am I supposed to be doing with it right now? Like, you know what I mean? Because it won't last past this. And I want to toss it so it doesn't get confused with something else. Blah, blah. And then she's like, well, thanks a lot. And I was like, what? She goes, now I feel bad. And I was like, oh, well, I didn't mean for that.
Yeah.
Wait till you look back over your life and figure out how many times something like that happened.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. And I'm sure it happens without them even telling us.
Yeah. No, my point is you're doing it right now. Like you don't know it. You think you're trying not to, which is commendable, but like it's going to happen.
It is. Yeah. It's tough. And it's a learning process. I think as long as your intentions are good, that's the part that will stick. We're not bringing our own baggage and putting it.
The only time that doesn't really work is when somebody makes you a Bills fan. Like that's damaging and there's no way out of it. You know what I mean?
You're going to be feeling so ridiculous in February of 2026 about this conversation.
Why is
all
that?
I'm saying.
So after the joy of the Eagles winning a consecutive Super Bowl happens, how will I feel exactly? What's going to happen?
You're going to feel so silly when we bring that home. You're just going to feel
I'm so
like
sorry.
ridiculous. Bills.
You had Stephon Diggs and you ruined it.
Oh, please. He's fine. He's good. We're good. Everybody's good.
You ruined Stephon Diggs. What do you think of that?
He was
You ruined his career.
I'm sorry. I'm not going to, I have opinions, but I'm not going to share them right here. If he could have
just been on a decent football team, imagine what would have happened for him. He's stuck up there. Remember you ruined that beautiful defensive end's life too? He was so good.
Gosh.
What was his name?
Oh my gosh.
Say his name.
Which one? Who are you talking about?
Who's the most famous defensive lineman you've ever had in Buffalo?
Ever?
Who?
You mean ever?
Oh my God. Look at how young you are. How old are you?
I'm 42.
Really?
I'm trying to think of who you could be talking about.
Wait.
Are you sure you're thinking of the Bills?
I definitely am. Hold on a second.
Like old? What?
Yeah, older.
Older?
I'm just going to do it here like this.
Like Bruce Smith? You can't be talking about him. No. How did we win?
You ruined his life too. Yeah.
That's not how. I can't believe the turn this is taking. If you could see my face, this is like.
Well, I mean, what did he win? Nothing.
He won
one of the great defensive ends in the league.
He still is. If you asked him today if he would say, there was no place he'd rather be than right there, right then.
He would have said, I would have rather been somewhere warm where we could have won something. What do you think of that?
Bruce Smith, if you are listening, please tell Scott Penner that you are proud to be a Bill and that you wouldn't trade it for the world.
I don't believe that at all. I think he wished he would have played in the year of free agency.
I couldn't think of his name because I thought you couldn't be talking about him.
I was trying to lead you to the greatest defensive end that ever played for the Bills.
But you said that we ruined him.
Yes, whose career was ruined by playing in Buffalo. Like,
why does he still spend half of his time in Buffalo then?
Because he didn't make enough money to get out of there. Because he was before free agency and he got screwed.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
He's nuts. That's it.
Did you say these nuts? I can't believe you didn't say, hey, put these in your mouth and shut up.
I can't. You just said it. Okay. So you say all of the things for me.
Listen, the Bills are terrible. I don't know what to tell you.
We can't. Go Bills. We can't end like this. That's awful.
They should be a good team and they're just not. I don't know why.
Oh my gosh. You did watch the game on Sunday, right?
It doesn't matter. And you have our old defensive coordinator and I like him. McDermott, right?
I'm going to send you. Yeah, he's amazing. I'm going to send you a note in February. Just wait. Make sure you're checking your inbox.
Okay.
Just make sure you're checking.
I will look for when you say, oh my God, I can't believe how they lost in the playoffs again.
Okay, listen, here's a deal. If they lose, you have to send me and my family on your juice cruise for free.
Well, listen, I can't afford that. Wait a minute. Are you referring to the game? Was it the Ravens and the Bills?
Yeah.
Yeah, so the game that the Ravens lost, you're taking credit for winning?
Well, not me personally.
Oh, okay. Because the Bills didn't win that game. The Ravens lost it.
You do know that everybody plays until the last second, right?
That's not what happened. You can't lose a game when you're up 40-25. That's your fault when that happens.
This is just a difference of opinion.
Yeah, it's a difference of opinion, right? Like between somebody who is watching the game from a third-party position and a person like yourself who's trying to make yourself believe something that's not true.
I want... Ridiculous.
I swear I don't even care.
How about that? I'm going to tell you something cute my son said, because when they were playing Sunday night, I did not make it through the first night. I watched the highlights because I had to get up in the morning, but my husband was watching part of it with my son and pointed out, I can't remember his name on the Ravens, who's a type 1. And my son said, yes. And my son, so sweet, he says, I wish Josh Allen had type 1. Like, not because he wanted it, because he
wants someone to root for with diabetes.
Yes. And I loved that he felt so okay about having diabetes that he wasn't wishing it on an enemy. He was wishing it on a hero because he wanted it. You know, it was I was like, that is sweet.
I take your point. Noah Gray's been on the podcast. He's football player.
I just listened to that one. Yeah. So good.
It was good, right? Actually, I think I have an email here from oh my God, look at all these emails. You people, you got to stop emailing me. It's enough. I don't have a person. It's just me over here. Where's her?
Drawback of fame.
I am emailing with Chad Muma's
Oh, yeah.
wife right now. I think they're both going to come on the podcast.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So
That's really cool.
That's another guy. Like he's,
we love seeing it.
Also better than the Bills, probably.
Just stop it. Just stop it.
I'm sorry. I don't even. Are the Bills bad?
We were going in such a good direction. We were getting off of it, and then you went back. You went back.
I know. I felt like I did okay. I think we're just going to call this episode "The Bills Suck," and then that'll.
No, if I swear, I would. That would be the worst. The worst. I would choose these nuts. Okay, I would.
Kirby, we've spoken for an hour and a half, even longer. Rob's going to have to turn this into a 2-episode podcast. It's going to be a 2-part podcast.
Oh, my goodness.
And I never once brought up that my mom bought a Kirby vacuum cleaner when I was younger. And to ask you if you knew what that was.
Of course I did, because I have to always say to people, like the vacuum, my response, which I've been working on since a child, is yes, except I don't suck.
There you go. Not like the Bills. So...
We were so close.
See what you did, though? You allowed me to do that by saying sucks. Yeah. All right. Okay.
All right. Well, thank you.
No, we're done now. Goodbye.
Okay, bye.
Hold on a second. Thanks for tuning in today, and thanks to Medtronic Diabetes for sponsoring this episode. We've been talking about Medtronic's MiniMed 780G system today, an automated insulin delivery system that helps make diabetes management easier day and night. Whether it's their meal detection technology or the Medtronic extended infusion set, it all comes together to simplify life with diabetes. Go find out more at my link, medtronicdiabetes.com/juicebox. I'd like to thank the blood glucose meter that my daughter carries, the Candor NextGen blood glucose meter. Learn more and get started today at contournext.com/juicebox. And don't forget, you may be paying more through your insurance right now for the meter you have than you would pay for the Candor NextGen in cash. There are links in the show notes of the audio app you're listening in right now, and links at juiceboxpodcast.com to Candor and all of the sponsors. Okay, well, here we are at the end of the episode. You're still with me? Thank you. I really do appreciate that. What else could you do for me? Why don't you tell a friend about the show or leave a 5-star review? Maybe you could make sure you're following or subscribed in your podcast app. Go to YouTube and follow me, or Instagram, TikTok. Oh, gosh, here's one. Make sure you're following the podcast in the private Facebook group as well as the public Facebook page. You don't want to miss, please. Do you not know about the private group? You have to join the private group. As of this recording, it has 74,000 members. They're active, talking about diabetes. Whatever you need to know, there's a conversation happening in there right now. And I'm there all the time. Tag me. I'll say hi. If you or a loved one is newly diagnosed with type 1 diabetes and you're seeking a clear, practical perspective, check out the Bold Beginning series on the Juicebox Podcast. It's hosted by myself and Jenny Smith, an experienced diabetes educator with over 35 years of personal insight into type 1. Our series cuts through the medical jargon and delivers straightforward answers to your most pressing questions. You'll gain insight from real patients and caregivers and find practical advice to help you confidently navigate life with type 1. You can start your journey informed and empowered with the Juicebox Podcast. The Bold Beginning series and all of the collections in the Juicebox Podcast are available in your audio app and at juiceboxpodcast.com in the menu. The episode you just heard was professionally edited by Wrong Way Recording. wrongwayrecording.com.